So y'all know I keep it crispy with you. That's what the moringa looks like right now. I took off all those dead brown leaves because I saw this, what appeared to be potentially new growth here. Appeared to be new growth here, the top. But you know, this has been happening, and they look even sadder than they did. And it doesn't seem to be taking up water. It's hot as hell out here. There's still water pooled at the base. It's not a fair fight right now because I just watered. But even prior to that, there was still water, stagnant water that stayed in the bottom of that, which let me know that she's not thriving. Not even. So my moringa crop failed this year. And I say crop because I meant to have one. I tried to grow 4, but again, in fairness, those seeds are 3 years old. Y'all know how I will stalk a seed until I know for sure it can't be helped no more. So it's whatever. Season's over. And peppermint, one of the most invasive of all herbal medicines that they have colonized us to believe are weeds, is just now popping. Yeah, a lot of good that's gonna do me. Here's a stand. I'm gonna use it as a trellis next year. Just so y'all know, this is a stand from a funeral. So we'll use it in that person's honor. While I'm giving these cucumbers some hands-free water. I think I'm gonna start watering those raised beds hands-free as well, because I just realized that I could hook that up to the little fencing that Mr. has built around these. Cause child, the rabbit still got up there somehow. I don't know what the hell. But anyway. Some of them are really quiet, some of them are really loud. One a loud one. Oh, there's one doing chemtrails, but that's so far away you can't see. They gotta fly high with those to make sure they spread, everybody's contaminated. But anyway, let me do this real quick. Okay. And then I have one on the other side too. The flowers just fall into the pot once they're done. I love how my leaves have the red permeating through them. Usually when I see other people's burgundy okra, they don't have that. And the actual okra is like fat and red, not long and burgundy like that. There's the callaloo bed. Well, it was a callaloo bed. I'm gonna cut those and bag them, see if I can get seeds. It's another okra ready. Here's 2 surviving red vein sorrel. These pea plants have gotten. So yeah, I'm gonna let them recover and do their thing. I'm gonna come over and cut these seeding callaloo heads off. I usually don't worry about them because they come back to reseed themselves. But this one was staked up, but I harvested everything off of it, so it's just a little branch down there now. And again, I have my green okra over here that never did anything this season. They'll probably start flowering when it freezes. Get bags for these seeding tips and harvest a few greens from there. Very briefly, everything else. I have these tomatoes that I told you are doing them beautifully. And these actually can be picked because somehow I feel like it leaves more room for the rest to get nourishment. There's my moringa. It's gone. There's no help. Fuck it. This is what's left of the cucumber. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna give me much of anything else. I'm going to harvest the ones that are here. So I'm gonna harvest the ones that are here. These have been growing. I can tell when it's kind of over because they'll have yellow on them before they even get full size. Yeah, it's about time for me to pull these. So I'm gonna start 2 peas maybe. And then I said I was gonna put the stand in the middle of there. So I'm gonna harvest all the tomatoes I need to harvest from this plant. I may have fried green tomatoes. No. I'm gonna take some more to my relatives. These still haven't blushed to yellow. I don't know what the hell the deal is, but this is gonna be probably my first and last time growing these. Yeah. I mean, because they're small anyway, but I did want to try it. Next year, I'm going to do indigo rose for more reasons than one, because they're black like me. Well, you know, I'm more of a red bone, but IDC, I'm a blackety black. And that's the side of history I'm on. Harvested all of these. I thought I wasn't going to get much from it, but that's what it did. See, now the base is a little tree. I may leave the little tree to see if it overwinters itself, just because I'm curious. So I might see how that works out. Because I always wondered if they're perennial, because they do so well in the fall, in the cool weather, before they finally die. So I may just leave this here in this pot and see what happens. These are some more microtoms. I would have pruned this branch off already, except that, are there more growing? Oh yeah, I see. I feel fruits at the end of it. And also, I needed to be able to guide the whole plant forward. And I have onions on the sides, which I may take indoors and put in that planter with the garlic, depending on how the garlic does. So we'll see very shortly how the hell that's gonna work or not. But in the meantime, I have set up my indoor herb planter, and I'm also going to take this okra indoors probably in a couple of weeks. You can see all the okra that I've harvested on the way up. Several. How many? 1, 2, 3. You can tell by these little cut stems right here on the inside of every node. They're at the season where they're constantly giving me fruit. This one ought to be kind of big. Oh yeah. And quiet. It was just low. It made me think it was gonna be loud, but yeah, so I need to harvest all of these. Okay, I gotta put the phone down to do it though. Oh, finally got my peppermint to do something. Boom. I replanted all this oregano, opal basil. It doesn't look like much, and it's not very red because I had it in a pot under the raised bed over there. And when your red veggies, I don't know if some of you are new gardeners, if your red veggies are in the heat of the sun, they won't be as red. They'll have more of a green tint. Whereas, oh, that's my cilantro. Chopped it down. I wonder if cilantro, if you can take cuttings from cilantro. I'm just curious. I have no desire to want to do that, and I always have plenty of cilantro seeds, but I'm just curious. So I'm gonna finish harvesting these tomatoes, maybe get a couple of, what are y'all? A couple of cucumbers, maybe a few green tomatoes, and also chop down the tops of this yellow pear because there's only so much I can expect from this. Plus, I'm doing some control testing on that extra one to see. When I say extra, it was the subsequent one I had growing behind this. But it was my first time growing, so I hadn't decided what to do just yet. And now that I know how it grows, I'm actually going to try, and it's not too bad. I mean, that's manageable. It's only grown like, what is that? It's still growing though. Shit. Yeah, but it's only grown like I guess about a foot above the top of the tomato cage. And so this smaller one in a smaller pot obviously has not gotten as tall, but I'm gonna top it off just to see what happens to the rest of it. I'm curious. I did top that off, but I only cut about probably about 6 inches or so off the top branches of that. But it looks really, really healthy. It looks like it appreciated, and in fact, I'm of the assumption I need to sit down and do a whole video on how I do tomatoes, because it is not like everyone else does tomatoes. I never like to do a video concentrated totally on tomatoes, because everybody does tomatoes and everybody starts with tomatoes. And when you teach a man a garden, you'll have tomatoes for the whole neighborhood, because that's the one thing that people will have in excess and all at once, right? But there are specific things that I have learned about tomatoes from the ancestors, not from a book. So I can't even explain how I know it. I can't even probably prove it other than demonstrating. But anyway, just as I thought, well, I don't want to talk about tomatoes because everybody does tomatoes, and that's the staple, that's the gardener's staple. But if I, like everything else, do things differently than everyone else, and I share information that's not going to be found in a book and that other people are not going to be promoting, and if my mission is to prepare Black lives, to help Black lives, is to give Black lives access to knowledge that they have been sheltered from, so that they can protect themselves during the nation's attack on us, then why shouldn't I discuss tomatoes? So I'm gonna sit down and discuss tomatoes in a few minutes when I'm done watering and harvesting. So I will see you guys soon. Hopefully I'll get to get in the shower and be halfway decent cute when I do, but that might not happen either. So I jet sprayed these again just now, and they look great. But that fast, look what popped off of that hog. Some bullshit. Tried me.